So far the mic is working, or perhaps not. You heard Anusha? Yes?
Yes.
Perfectly fine. We'll do away with this, perhaps.
So to the guests who just arrived, you heard from Anusha Thavaraja, Regional Chief Executive Officer. I know some of you are taking copious notes in terms of metrics and all that. Rest assured, we will share that, of course, in the media kit that will be shared thereafter. Anusha spoke of Asia Pacific. We're part of a large group in Allianz in more than 70 countries. But you're here, of course, to ask specifically about what are the plans in the Philippines.
Yes.
And my privilege to introduce you to our boss, a gentleman who's really embraced the Philippines as his own, despite having been here for only a couple of years. Ladies and gentlemen, Joseph Rose, our President and CEO.
All right, let's do it without the mic. Right? So first of all, thank you very much, Anusha. It's very difficult to add on what Anusha said because she's covered 360 of all the topics, right? But first of all, warm welcome to the media also from my side. I hope my voice is loud enough that you can hear. All right, good. So maybe I just start off building. I think I can almost mirror what Anusha was talking about. Is what is a life insurance actually? What is an insurance? But especially life insurance. It's actually a declaration of love. Why? Anusha described that. And all of you will know somebody, hopefully not in your own family circle, who has fallen ill, who has passed away, the financial distress, the borrowing of uncles, aunties, bankruptcies, throwing families who were well off the cliff. That is when the moment is when people say, I wish there was somebody at my side in this moment of distress. That is a declaration of love. It's almost, I would say, it's an absolute statement. Not having a life insurance if you have a family is almost irresponsible. Now I'll talk about that. What is the role of us as an insurer here in the Philippines? Yes, 2016 was an important year for two reasons. One was Allianz partnered with PNB. The second one was I met Anusha. I know Anusha now for 9 years, 10 years almost, exactly. We met in Malaysia. She was CEO of another company. So one moment in my life, one moment in the Philippines, why 2016 was very important. Maybe a little bit of background. What kind of partnership do we have? Bring it into a relevant local context, right? We're partnered with PNB. We're very proud to be together with PNB. Why? Anusha said it's a fantastic brand. Actually, when you go out to the province, PNB is still in the heart of many people. It is the Philippine National Bank. It is the bank in your community. It is the bank that your father or your mother or your grandparents and the children are banking and trusting. So it's a fantastic brand. It has huge values that also match with what Allianz stands for in terms of customer centricity, honesty, integrity, etc. Right? So it's a great match. We also obviously have other distribution partners. HSBC is one, also a fantastic partnership, and there's no conflict between PNB and HSBC because HSBC serves a different client base. But very, very successful also. It's the last international bank which is also in retail business here in the Philippines, and we're very proud. And then the third pillar of distribution is is agency. Agency, I think all of you will know the Tide agent, right? So we're very happy with our distribution footprint. What drives us every day is how can we support and secure more Filipino lives? How can we make sure that Filipinos can provide this declaration of love and be protected when bad things happen, because life is not always good, I think, as all of us know. The opportunity in the Philippines is just huge, because the Philippines has a population, if I remember correctly, of about 117 million, right? More or less. The insurance penetration in the Philippines is less than 2%. Very low. The upside potential is huge. Now, you got to put a bit of factor onto those numbers, because within the 170 million, there will be also people who cannot afford yet, from a cash flow perspective, proper full-scale life insurance, right? But even without that, all of us know that the Philippines has one of the strongest GDP growth rates in Asia, right? Our trajectory of 5 to 6% is higher than India. I hope it's correct. I think China is more or less at par. And year on year and year, the Philippines is evolving. Plus, the Filipino society is, if I look at you, young. So, if you've got a growing GDP, you've got a young population, there's something called the demographic dividend, which means the Philippines, by definition, whatever you do, statistically, wealth will grow in this country. The middle class is going to grow. Whether it grows exponentially or it grows linearly, that's a separate. That means the market opportunity is huge, meaning more and more Filipinos will have the affordable income to buy this declaration of wealth. Now, what do we need to do as an insurer? It's pretty simple. We need to have propositions which meet the client's needs. It's very simple, right? If you're protected against debt, you want to get the death insurance paid out immediately without any hassle, without withholding tax, without any big legacy planning, etc. It's straightforward, directly to your beneficiary. So far, so good. In the insurance industry, I think most companies offer good propositions. Now, we might have a little bit better here, a little bit better there, it doesn't matter. I think the area where we will win, or where you win a customer, is distribution. Do you have an agent who really serves you, who advises you, who also calls you if you have a death case, or somebody falls in? Will you have agents who stand by your side the whole time? If you buy something from a banking partner, for wealth management, for instance, will the dividends come in? Will the bank partner also advise you fairly that you don't spend too much and suddenly say, oh, I don't have the cash flow, I can't afford this insurance? So the quality of distribution and our partnerships is fundamental. The third one is, and that's up to us, is how do we service you? If you've got a claim, do we fight you? Do we say, no, look at the small print here on page 256, it's not covered? Or if you file a claim, we say, oh, thank you very much, we'll come back to you in 5 months. Ever heard about that? Does it happen? Yes, it does. That is where we as Allianz have the ambition. A promise is a promise. If we make a promise, we deliver on the promise. There's a long way to go still also. Because I will admit, insurance products are not easy to understand. The contracts are not easy to understand. What you get and what you don't get is not easy to understand. There's a long way that we will go with Allianz because we set the global standards of simplicity, integrity, customer value. Those are our benchmarks. So I'm not Filipino, you might have noticed. I used to work in Munich, I've worked in Malaysia, so I think I know Allianz pretty well. Since 23 years, I work with this wonderful company. And I know what the standards are, and I know what the power is of Allianz globally and in the region to really drive new solutions also for the Philippines. So that is our commitment that we will give you all and all the Filipinos. Simpler, easier to understand, easier to close, easier to claim propositions which are affordable. Value for money is a key aspect specifically in the Philippines, but not only in the Philippines. So that is the direction that we want to take, everything that Anusha said, 100% into the Philippines and leverage the strength of Allianz because we are backed by the region, we are backed by the group, we are backed by, in my view, don't quote me, the best insurance company in the world, okay? Or the best love company in the world, maybe that's actually a better word we should use. There. Now we're talking about One Ayala. So you're in this, hopefully you've noticed this is pretty new, right? This is actually all brand new. Why did we do this? There are 3 reasons why we did that. The first is because we want to serve customers better. Now you might look at me and say, Joe, what are you talking about? You've got nice LED lighting and you've got nice aircon and you've got a brand new carpet, right? What does that have to do with the customer? And I'll talk also about the investments in a second. When we moved to One Ayala, it was not just the move of an office. Anusha had alluded to that. So we've got multiple floors up there. You'll see them, I think, later when you do the walk. We are reorganizing the company of how we work. We are creating chapters, we call them, which are cross-functional teams that have one and only one goal, which is to serve the client better via our distribution partners. So you will see an area which is called the P&B chapter. Their metrics, their performance, and their reward is only about the success of the P&B clients and P&B. Then there'll be a chapter called HSBC, slightly smaller. Same objective, but against HSBC clients and HSBC performance. And then you'll have the agency chapter, again the same thing, agency clients and the agency distribution. Now why are we doing this? An HSBC client has a different profile than the agency client. A P&B client will have different expectations towards P&B and towards the insurance than the HSBC or the agency. Now, are there commonalities? Of course, there are commonalities. So in the back, we will combine all the commonalities. We'll have common products, common pricing, common financing, etc. But towards the customer and distribution, we will differentiate with customer groups with company groups from finance, operations, everybody who are dedicatedly against the needs of the respective customers. That is why we move to one Ayala. It doesn't matter whether it's one Ayala or not. It doesn't matter whether it's a new office or not. Of course it isn't. Another key aspect of moving to one Ayala is employee motivation. We are Allianz. We are, in my view, as I said, the best loved company in the world. If we want to have the best people and we want to have clear minds and dedication and passion and motivation to work together, we have certain levels of standards of the work environment. And here we've created the work environment. You'll go up and see it. You'll see very few offices. You'll also see very few meeting rooms. You want the people to mix, merge, hot desking, collaborating, talk and drive action rather than writing emails, hiding in your closet, I don't work here, etc., etc. We want the people to come to the office. We want them to have fun in the office, and we want them to drive the actions for the customer and for distribution. So that is, I think, the second pillar. And the third one is you won't see this, but this is actually built against all sustainability standards of the group. So when we moved here, especially with Gino and the team, but also the colleagues here driving the actual construction, we have paid extreme attention towards using material, recycling material, using the lighting, using the aircon, using the water taps, even up to flush systems in the bathrooms, etc., which minimize our footprint. Our energy sourcing, Gino, is 100% RE, renewable energy. So this is the last commitment that I want to share with you, what we're doing when we move to one Ayala. So this is really what, in my view, embodies this move to one Ayala. I think I'll pause here. We both of us didn't use the script, right? So they wrote nice scripts, etc. But neither my boss nor me, we never stick to scripts.
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you very much, and over for questions.
Well, that's 2 times 360. That's a 720 view. That was very, very thorough. And indeed, they didn't quite follow the script, but it doesn't matter. This is all about what actually led to a few smiles. So you heard declaration of love. It's something that we passionately imbibe in this organization. You heard customers, you heard employees, sustainability. The floors aren't quite edible yet, but it is, of course, a privilege of ours to be able to show you the offices later as well. So after the lunch and the lechon, there will be a little bit of a tour in the different floors. So we have the 7th, the 22nd to the 24th. And to those who can stay, you're welcome. We would love to have you see how this came to life, everything that Joe just mentioned. We have a few minutes for questions and answers.